guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're returning, karibu sana, and if it's your first time to be here, thank you so much for choosing to pass by. And like we have already indicated in the title of this video, we are going to be discussing about discipline. And to do this and to carry us through this session today is none other than Jessica Baraka, who is a counseling psychologist. She's also a mom, making it even better for us today. So I hope you are ready. If you need to sit down, if you need to take some notes, kindly get your book and your pen so that we get to ride through this conversation of today. I hope you get to learn a thing or two, or actually everything, so that we get to prepare our children for this generation. So karibu sana, and thank you for accepting to be here with us today.
Asante.
Yes, so we are just going to get right in and discuss discipline, which is a very big topic. I actually think it is one of those things that sometimes you fear, sometimes you're excited about, but sometimes you actually don't know how to go about it. And this is for our children from a very young age. And I would like us to start from knowing when is the right age to start discipline for our children.
The right age is, I think, from 3 years.
From 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years they are able to know what they are doing.
Okay.
But there are those who are exceptionally bright.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are those children that you can tell this one is a fast learner. They are
Okay.
able to pick something when you tell them. Like, for example, if they are still like 1 year and you're still breastfeeding, when they bite you and you press, or maybe you just hold, pinch kidogo,
Yeah.
they feel the pain and
Yeah.
they're able to stop biting. So meaning, when they bite, they know they are inflicting pain. You are likely to feel pain.
Yes.
So they want to see your response. So when you try to stop them by also now also inflicting pain,
Yes.
for him to, he or her to feel pain,
Yes.
she or him will stop biting. So you can start, but 3 years, at least at 3 years, they're able to, maybe those who are fast learners, they're able to stop, they're able to pronounce some words.
Yes.
Even at 2 years, that children who start speaking at 2 years.
Yes.
So it depends with also the personality. There are those who are a bit quiet, so they are not too fast to even to learn. When you try to discipline them, they may not know why you're disciplining. Like 3 years is a good age. Yeah.
Because also before they even get to 3 years, we start seeing them throwing tantrums. Mtu amejirusha, and they start doing some awkward things, or even you go to the supermarket and they decide to hold on to something and you had not planned for it. At this point, how do we discipline these children?
First of all, when they are that age where you can go with them to the supermarket, you need to agree at home. You tell them we are going to do shopping.
Yes.
And if you can do a shopping list, you tell them this is what we are going to buy. So when you get to the supermarket, you actually stick to your word. This is what we said we are buying it, but you also let them know it's not a necessity. A toy is not something that they cannot do. So you can buy once in a while, depending on the age, because they also outgrow the toys with age.
Yeah.
What you buy for them when they are 2 years or 1 year, they might not be able to use it when they are 3 years. So there are things that they outgrow with the time. But at least communicating. You can start communicating with your child even at 6 months. Of course, 6 months will not talk English. He or she might not be able to speak.
Yes.
But they hear. Even when they are still in the room, you can speak to your child, especially when they start making some movements and you feel uncomfortable. As a mother, just hold your tummy and you just tell him to be calm, or even if the dad is there, just tell the dad to talk to the baby and even speak something good to that child when they are still in the womb. They hear. Even our feelings, how when you are annoyed, you are angry, it actually affects the baby still in the womb.
Then that means we can discipline from a very young age.
Yeah.
But how do we discipline these children? What do we use to discipline?
Now, when they are still young, let's say from 3 years, as I mentioned,
Yes.
the Bible talks about a rod of correction. Of course, we have many schools of thought, especially from the West, where they they have banned even beating a child with a cane.
Yes.
But the Bible is very categorical. A rod of correction will drive a folly. Folly is bound up in the heart of a child. And the Bible, you cannot. I know the way I mentioned, people have come up with some other knowledge. They think we can outdo what God can do. But when you use a rod of correction, a cane, a small, for example, 3-year or old child, you can just get some stick, a nice one. But when you are not beating to destroy, you are beating to correct, to make this child become a good person. So you just beat, but before you discipline, you have to explain why, what did this child do that warrants that beating. But you can also talk to the child. They hear. Actually, I mentioned about personalities. I am a mother of 5, and I think I have twins and 2 big boys and a girl.
Wow.
So my firstborn is a bit quiet. He's not someone who is very outgoing.
Yeah.
So he tends to keep a lot of the things to himself. So the brother is, you feel his presence.
Yes.
He will, even the laughter, the shouting and everything.
Yeah.
And also such people, they can't fail to make mistakes. There is, he's very outgoing. I mean, he's relationship oriented. He's very social. So in the process of being, making friends, shouting and playing, he used to make a lot of mistakes. So beatings, I didn't know how to display the best way, the way I know how to.
Yeah.
So the way I was raised, I was also raised where we were beaten by anything that we find.
Yeah.
Beater, sufuria, you are thrown, slippers, everything. And sometimes shouting. You find yourself shouting. And in fact, I say, ask mom to know how to shout. I'm just right here. Just I will hear when you talk. Don't have to shout. I'm thinking now with my child teaching me and how to be a good parent. That's how I've struggled along the way, but by the grace of God, I'm good. So personality is very key. The calm one, you need just to talk to them. Sometimes you might not even need, you might end up not beating them. Like one of the twins, he's one person you pick against every time. But now we realize that was now also manipulation. So if it's beating, you have to actually beat him to know that next time if he does that mistake. Yes, but talking to them first, explaining why you are disciplining them, and also after that, you don't just leave them crying. You have also to be there just to let them cry. Yes. And also there's that crying that is not good. You have also to help them cry the right way. So you allow them to cry. After that, you talk to them and ask them what they feel about the discipline. How have they felt after being disciplined? And you pray for them. Actually, that's my husband is honest, because I realized I was not that good at discipline. So he took over, and it used to be a bit scary, but he used to do it.
Yeah. And you have mentioned, when you were talking, you just mentioned about manipulation. And I think there are so many people, there are so many parents out there. It could be you, or you could know of someone who likes scaring their children that I'm going to beat you, I'm going to beat you, I'm going to, but they never do it. What is the outcome of that? How does this baby turn out to become?
You see, when you just use mere threats, they get used to it. So because they know, mami atasema lakini hata mtaki. She'll just say, mom will just say, she'll beat me, she'll threaten me, but she will not beat me. So it becomes like you've gotten used to it. So this child takes you for granted.
Yes.
As a parent, when you say I will beat you, make sure. And actually it's not, let them know when they do a certain mistake, what the outcome is. So it's good also to let them know if you do ABCD, this is how this is. So that they know, if, for example, if I leave my room disorganized, for example, after playing with the toys, you have to teach them early enough. They should, after playing with their toys, let them keep in a particular place. Maybe you have a box where those toys are supposed to be kept out of play. And also you can even teach them that, give them like a period, so that they don't also just be playing throughout. They can also learn how to manage their time at an early age. Where like you say, ikifika saa fulani, you stop, you do this, you do your homework, or you do something else. Yes. It also, like, there's a way you can program your children to become good people in future when they are at a tender age. How to manage their time, how to arrange their room, even just doing their bed at an early age. They might not do it so nicely, but at least they can make an attempt. When you come and say, yeah, you did so well, you congratulate. After that, you tell them, now, next time, do it next. So, and it should be like something when they wake up. There's something about when you wake up in the morning, you do your best. It actually prepares you. It's like you are like, I need to be organized. Yes. And some of these things I'm actually saying I learned them later. I didn't know this, how you can also prepare your children to become people who are responsible. Yes. In like when they're.
Yeah. Actually, this means to us that are watching, and even me as I listen, that we are advantaged. We are at a better place. That we get to sit down and get such information, and even know how to raise our children in the best way possible. Because we've managed to raise 5 kids who are adults now, and some things we do not know, but they are doing well, and we actually thank God. Because I was hearing a story just the other day with a person. The parents were drunkards, so they never got an opportunity to be disciplined or to be raised well. If your parent is always drinking, then high chances are you might never spend time with them. They might not have chance to correct you, but they turned out well. And on the other side, there could be a child who has been raised up in a very Christian home by even maybe pastors or ministers, and they turned out to be very the opposite of the other. And you wonder when instilling with discipline work, and I get to learn that sometimes even our prayers, even when we don't say them for our children, actually work. Yeah. And so there's one other thing about little children, is about sharing. In several occasions we have several children in the house, and maybe there are a few toys to be shared. How do we manage this? Because sometimes you want to ask your baby to share, but you are afraid if you're going to create a different type of a person who will become a people's pleaser, because they are okay with just giving. They have learned to just give and not have something to themselves. And on this other side, there could be a child who is not willing at all to share. How do you do this, even with balance, so that you don't go on the extreme of either side?
When it comes to sharing, also, as I mentioned, you have to start. Like for toys, if you stay in an apartment or an estate where there are many children, you allow your child to give his or her toys to other children to play with as he watches. So after, like, you have to be there at least to teach him rather, that it is good to share what you have with others, so that it doesn't become selfish. Yes, we are naturally in our fallen nature. We are born selfish. We just want things, it's mine for yourself. You want to have as many things, and you find umejaza kitu kwa nyumba zenye hata unahitaji, because of that tendency of becoming selfish. Just wanting everything for yourself. So also teaching our children to share, to be kind enough to share with other children. Just let him play with his toy. Then if there's 2 or 3 other children, let him give them and watch how they are playing with that toy. So at least he will be happy they are playing with it. Then they give him back the toy, he plays with it, then they share. So it's being in his mind, he's learning that sharing is a good thing. And in the process of sharing, you are also creating friendship. I have my twins. They have a friend. They learn, actually they school in the same school from baby class up to class 8. And they were telling me how they became friends with these friends. They were small boys when they joined that school. And they liked each other. They started playing. This boy will come with his toys to school. They will share and play with it. Then I think now we used to hear the name of this boy often in our house. I think I would like, now who is this that you keep on mentioning? So they said it's our friend. He's so nice. He comes with some snacks. We share the snacks with him. That school they used to encourage birthdays. The children to carry a cake on their birthday. So we'll take the boy will bring his cake, the parents will bring other. Then also we learned now we also need to take boys' cake to school for them to share. So that also taught through the teachers taught my children sharing with you. But this friendship became a bit it grew to an extent that the parents now we had to know each other because of now their son and now our twins. To an extent where the dad to this boy would come and pick my children to take the boys for swimming.
Wow.
And they come from a different part of Kenya. We come from part of Kenya. But because of our children, we became friends.
Yes.
Up to now, I remember when my husband died, it was so funny. They were the first people to my house. They were the first people to come, and they picked our children. They just say, let's go to children and just have some time. So imagine that's how that sharing started. It started by just sharing at school. They became friends. Now we became friends as families. And when they go up country, like recently, they brought me something from up country just because of children. So you never know when you teach your child to be generous, how far that will go.
That is true. Yeah. Wow. And when you say that, then I realize that even the adults that we are now, there's so many things that were built when we were children. Sometimes we raise our children with how we were raised. I did not have this, so I want my baby to have this. And I don't know, sometimes maybe it is good, it is not good. I don't know, maybe you can also mention on that. If I walked to school without shoes, I just want my children not to go to school without shoes and to go with the best. Does this affect these children?
Actually, mentioning something that was mentioned yesterday in school where I'm one of the twins. The guest speaker was mentioned exactly the word you just said. Some of us never had shoes when we were growing up. We wore our first shoe when we were going to form school. So you worked so hard, and now you have actually bought for your child or your children so many pairs of shoes. You have become extravagant. And these children, in fact, she said she used something. Okay, I'm a psychologist by profession. That's what we call the Maslow law. It's a theory. It's a motivation theory of needs. So where she said something that struck my mind when she mentioned we never had cases of suicide, depression, like this. But with all that our children have, they have everything. They have a bed to themselves, they have their own bedroom, they have enough clothes. So if it comes to needs, they have everything. What I got from that sharing, that sometimes because of where we are coming from, we are thinking when we give our children many things, we are making life good, or we are making them better. But if anything, they are becoming worse. It is not really a lot of things that will answer the problems of these children, especially the things that we are seeing going on. I think where we lost this is when we went to school, we worked very hard because we were running away from poverty, and God gave us jobs. And by that time, we were thinking that when I have enough money, I'll give my children whatever I never got time to. Whatever my parents never provided for me. But not realizing that our parents were there. We grew seeing our parents around. Yes. But as our children have grown seeing the television and the house. So I tend to think there is a longing in the heart of our children where they missed our. And that's why we have a generation that is depressed. They are so anxious. Anxiety disorder is on the increase because our children have never had that. They have just learned to be housewives who are illiterate or semi-literate. And the television, these cartoons. Yes. Actually, cartoons are the ones who are based on children. And some of these cartoons are actually different. No wonder we are seeing a lot of crazy things happening because lack of parental availability. Yeah, we have missed a generation. I mean, we have missed as parents, but I think God is able to come through to our children if we become intentional, being available.
The intentionality is the key word,
Yeah.
because we cannot replace our presence with our kids with gifts. We cannot replace.
Actually, you can't. They outgrow.
Yes.
By the way, anybody can buy a gift for you. Your presence can never be replaced. And actually, this month, early this month, we were just remembering my late husband, and it just hit me hard that he's not there. That his children, for our okay, my children are in school. We have never gone to great house. Of course, used to get out, but what I'm trying to drive at is like, I mean, somebody can give towards my children's life, but someone cannot give them. I mean, I cannot exchange my presence with other people's things or provide information. So what I've realized that my presence really, that's what they will remember. They will not remember. Some of these things they tend to forget. Of course, some of those memorable things like birthdays, I hear them talk about that used to them, how we used to go out, how we used to wash or cook with them. And that is his presence actually, because cooking he has to prepare. So they remember how he talked to them when he's cooking. That's the memory. But when we leave everything to the house help to do for us, then we just come in, we are too tired, we have no time for your child. In fact, we are so drained. We just want to eat supper, get in the bathroom, take supper, pray, and go to bed to rest because tomorrow we have to be today. It is a way the system of this world has robbed us time. Yes. And I pray that now that we have this where people are working from home, those who are doing it should take advantage of that opportunity and make up for the time they will never do.
Wow, that is really true, and it is intense. And actually, still remaining on that aspect, are there characters that are developed by our children without us knowing? You just interact with your baby, or when your baby is playing, for example, you could be in church and you see something that your baby does, and you're shocked as a parent. And is it because of this time that we are missing out on spending with our children? Because maybe the house help may have introduced something that you do not agree with, but you are not aware. You see it showing up, or even the cartoon may have introduced something to your baby. You are not aware. You just get to see it unleashing and showing up at some point.
As I mentioned, when we leave our children, like for example with the house, you don't know who is house. Especially when you get a house from the group, you have no idea where this person is coming from. We had the house help. I got her from a friend. So one day, my daughter told us that she doesn't want to share that bedroom. We had a 3-bedroom. So one for my daughter and the house help. So I asked her why. So she told me, this lady wakes up at night and starts making funny sounds. So she woke up and she had this. She was making some, I think she was enchantments, or I think she used to pray in a very strange way. So my daughter was so scared. So the following day when I asked the lady, she told me, I wake up to pray. That's how, but now it was interfering with my daughter's sleep. Yes. And she's a school going child. So if she doesn't have enough sleep, because now this lady wakes up around that midnight, start praying at 2 p.m. It means the girl will not sleep. So it's good to know the background. And at the same time now, for example, if I didn't have time to get back from my mom, I wouldn't have known that. She would have been affected without me. In another incident, I remember when she was very young, around 3 years, I had this other house girl. So I didn't know that when I leave to go to work, she will finish doing her work, then leave with my girl, go to I don't know how to call it. They did servant quarters for the I don't know how to describe this. It is another for some civil servants where they used to go with my daughter. So he had this boyfriend who was working in this particular place, and they were providing civil some place to stay.
Yes.
The civil servant. So one day my daughter tells me, tulienda na auntie na nikanunuliwa soda. So I'm thinking, my goodness. Me and my brother wako Kakamega, huyu ni uncle mgani? So I'm like, I asked the girl, no, nilienda na mtoto wakanunuliwa soda.
Yeah.
So she was like so shocked. Then she became just she changed. After she totally changed, then I realized if I continue living with this guy, with this lady, I'm not sure what will happen with me.
Yes.
So somehow when I was thinking of getting a replacement, one evening I think she made a mistake. There's something she did that I asked why she did it. And from nowhere she just disappeared. I just realized she had gone. I didn't know how she just left quietly. I just realized she had disappeared. So to me it was a blessing in disguise because I don't know. Even I don't know what they usually do. This young or this whatever this man and my daughter is there. So there are some things that your child will keep because of some of the exposure. For example, some people who are so, for lack of better word, who are manifest, they can actually start having sex in front of us. So you start seeing some characters in your child. You started wondering what is happening. Or she, if it's a girl or a boy, will pull another girl and want to demonstrate what he or she saw somebody doing with another person. For example, this is my husband. Yeah, so you can start seeing some strange things and you start wondering, really different here. Then people will start thinking that's what you do with your husband. Not knowing it's coming from the husband. So it's actually it's a time has come as parents, I would say, be very careful who you are to take with you. And in fact, if it's possible, if you can get someone who can come at a scholar. Of course, it's not easy to get these scholars. There's another disadvantage they tend to steal. Because I also tried that the scholar thing. And they used to steal. They stole from me quite a lot. So I realized later many things were missing. So I think it's prayer. As a believer, I would encourage, pray for God to provide.
Yes, so I think there's so many things to learn and even make new decisions, make new choices of how we want to raise our children, how we want to see them. Because, the other thing that I think I picked from another book that I was reading is that discipline for our children is not only for them, it is also for us. We get to have peace of mind, we get to have rest when we know that our children, we have brought them up in a certain way. And that will lead me to another question. Is instilling discipline in our children contribute to the building of their self-esteem?
It does. Even how you discipline. So there's that discipline that can destroy. For example, I mentioned about screaming. When you interact with someone, then you find you need to have confidence. They are not able to express themselves well. Some of these things, like lack of confidence, is coming from how this person was raised, how the parents raised this child, how they relate this child. For example, when you beat your child in front of other children and you are scolding, you are shouting, you are even in fact it's unamuita majina, some names that are not very good. Some children are generally cheeky when they are young. So they actually use the same they use that platform now to, whenever their friend now, your child, because their friend, does something wrong, and so it actually affects that person's self-esteem. So it's important when you are disciplining first, don't discipline your child.
Wow.
Even if you have gone to visit, for example, you've gone to a relative, maybe even a country, when you go visiting like during Christmas and your child misbehaves. I remember one thing I used to do. I'll just take my twins, sometimes they will start fighting. So I just pull them and take them somewhere, we are just the three of us. Then I deal with it. So that it's between me and my children. It is not about other people. See, it's not like disciplining. It's not like you are showing off how tough or how strict you are. it is between you and your children. Because you can actually discipline in a way that can destroy that child's self. So when you are disciplining, as I mentioned earlier, talk to your child while you are doing it, but do it in a way that will not permit this. So that they grow up people who can be able to express themselves, who are not timid. Yeah, when you shout at someone, you actually you put them down. When you insult them, you rob them of their self-esteem, their confidence. Yeah.
And you know, I'm listening to you, and I'm actually realizing that unless we ask God to help us, really, we are not going to be able to know, because you know, sometimes you could be having guests who have come, and you could have visited some people, and you're wondering, now this one, what do I do? And then you postpone it. The more you postpone it, now you will have to start explaining again why you're waiting. I think it introduces some other problems here and there. It is better to deal with it immediately and not to postpone. And actually, and apart from postponing, I think it is also not right to reintroduce the mistake once we've dealt with it.
No.
Yeah.
Of course, children tend to forget, and they are likely to repeat the same mistake. But when you deal with it, it's not feel like you have a place where you are filed or you have a list of mistakes they do. When you discipline them because, for example, they didn't do their bed, or they didn't they didn't put their place where they belong. You don't make it like it's something that you bring it more often in a discipline. Yes. You've dealt with it. The best way, for example, when you enter that bedroom and you find things just call them, ask them, what are you seeing? They will know that they have not done what they are supposed to do. They'll just put things in a very nice way. And one of the things I've also learned that is more effective when you do it with them. You know, children learn by observation. That's what we call it. There's learning by observation. When they see you do something, they want to do it the way you want to do it. Or they actually, somehow they ache. So they just take after you. So when you involve your children in doing some of these things, like especially cleaning up, arranging their room, even when we are finished eating, my children, I always tell them, even when we used to have to be in house helps, I will tell them after eating, there's that one who will bring the plates, arrange the table when we are about to eat. So when we are done, there's this other one who will have to clear the table. It's not just the house help doing everything. Because a time will come when they are grown up, they don't need house help anymore. Let them now learn from they are young. Then it becomes automatic. Yeah. Because working is not a punishment. I actually, what I've also learned, if you don't teach your children to do some of these things when they are young, when you start introducing them when they are bigger, they tend to associate work with punishment. That is true. In fact, sometimes some of us parents who have done it not knowing it's the wrong way. You tell your child, utaosha hizo vyombo because you did do this. So you are telling them to clean the utensils as a punishment, which is not the right thing. Discipline. Because work should not look like a punishment.
You know what I'm learning as of now is that the earlier you start, the better. Because if you start it later, you will have more. It will be more challenging than if you would have begun earlier. And I remember the words from the book of Proverbs that says, "Start it when there is still hope." Begin the discipline on your children when there is still hope. Yeah, and do not wish death for your children. So wishing death for them is when you don't actually start instilling this discipline from an early age, because it will get to a point, and you're going to tell us when is that point where you need to cut on discipline. It gets to a point where it becomes difficult. I have not gotten there yet, but I believe by the grace of God we are going to make it even for children. So when is the appropriate age to stop discipline and to reduce? Because the mode of discipline varies from age, from 3 years to 5 years. Beating, let me say from 3 years to around 11, the cane might work. But depending on the personality, as I mentioned, there are children that are compliant. When you talk to them, they get it.
I have actually two or three of my children. Okay, two who caning is not the best way to discipline. So when you talk to them, they tend to get it. But this, my daughter, there's a time we had to use a cane, but not, I think once or twice. In fact, there's a day she told me she can't remember her being beaten by the father. It's like my dad never disciplined, as in never took a cane and beat me because I had made a mistake. There's a way she's a nice girl. I don't know how to explain it. It's a bit interesting. We've never had a problem with it. So these children that will get it, you do things like this, I mean, she gets it. You don't come here late from school. You make sure when you know, there's this time when they used to be on school transport, and sometimes they alight and start playing. So you think the bus delayed. Kumbe ni watoto walishukishwa, because they will dictate and tell the driver to play for them. You know, they want to play a bit with their friends. So when we learned that, we had to deal with it, and by just talking. So we've done more talking on my daughter, and plus my firstborn son and one of the twins. But my second one and the other twin, we have done some beating that have really. We at one point we had to stop because we realized the beatings were not working. Wow. So we have realized these ones beating will not help. They're actually developing some immunity. Because one of the twins told the brother, "See, Daddy and Chapa then with an attitude." So when the brother told him, "I'll report you to Dad," said, "Chapa, alafu." So when I heard that, I realized, oh, this kiboko is not working for this one. Wow. So we need to look for another way of discipline. So now what we used to do, we used to withdraw some of the privileges. Yeah. So we will now, the one who did his part well, he is rewarded. The one who didn't meet the salvation. So because this one now, the things that he treasures, for example, going to play. So this one will be told, go and play. Like for homework, you did well, you came back from school on time, you can go to play. Huyu atashinda hapa amewekwa some jail.
So maybe as we wind up, let me ask you, how do we accept forgiveness from our children, because they come to us saying sorry when they've done a mistake and they know a beating is going to follow after this? How do we forgive them, or do we beat them first? How do we go about it?
Yeah, when it comes to forgiveness, we are, as parents, we are the ones to model forgiveness to our children. As in, they should see us, they should learn forgiveness from us as their parents. But at the same time, children are they can be a bit crafty. If they learn that when I say sorry, I will not be disciplined, they will take advantage of that. So you have also to be a bit wise, so that you don't allow them to get away with something that deserved a beating. Because beating in itself helps a child to become a better person. When you inflict that pain, when you beat them with that cane. Of course, beating is not meant to destroy. The way we have heard about some parents who have maimed or even killed their children because they were trying to discipline them. When you have to beat in a way, you are sending the message that what you did was wrong. At the same time, allow them to learn from that beating, so that they become better people. We don't beat them just for us to feel nice, we are inflicting pain, but it's for their good. And also when you see your child, because of the discipline that you are able to administer at the right time, you have seen them grow and become better people. You are proud to be associated with that child.
That is true.
When you see your child being kwa shule, he's doing very well academic wise, and because he's a disciplined person who finishes his homework on time, who follows the teacher's instruction, he doesn't make noise in class. You know, you are proud as a parent, you have raised a disciplined child.
Yes.
But when your child is wayward, you actually feel like you failed.
That is true.
And it can be a pain, an embarrassment, and you live regretting, I wish I didn't just leave my son or my daughter grow without being disciplined. But for them to ask for forgiveness, to teach them forgiveness, discipline them, and tell them I've forgiven you. Let them know that beating, I have also forgiven you what you did. And of course, children will repeat, but they should know you forgive them. So you're not, when you are beating them or you are disciplining them again, you should not bring up the same issue as a reminder. Now ni kama umeenda kuchimbua, what you had dealt with, you are bringing to the surface again. You discipline, you let it go. You discipline them for the mistake they have committed that particular time, not what they did like last week or last month. So you, whatever happened last month is gone with the last month. And they need also to discipline immediately. But sometimes when you are angry, because there's a likelihood as a parent uko na hasira, you know, you've been telling this child not to do this na amerudia tena. Try to be a bit calm when you are disciplining your child, because when you discipline them out of anger, you transfer that anger to that child.
You can share with us your parting shot, even to these amazing parents who are watching us and are desiring to give the best to their children in regards to discipline.
Good. My parting shot will be for those who are already parents, it's never too late. You might have made mistakes here and there. There is time for you. You can start afresh, and you can be a good parent to your child or to your children, but you have to be intentional. You have to actually work on yourself first. As I mentioned earlier, some of us have unfinished business. If there's an area that you need to deal with, please look for someone who can help you. We have counselors out here. You can work with someone and you can be restored for you to be a good parent or a better parent to your child or your children.
Wow.
And from the scriptures, when it comes to parenting, one of my key verse in the Bible is Psalm 127. It says, verse 3 says, children are a gift from the Lord. They are a reward from him. Children born to a young man are like arrows in a warrior's hands. So these children are a gift. Imagine God decided, wewe ndio utazaa huyo mtoto. You're the one who will give birth to that girl, to that boy. It's a gift. It's something that you never planned for. God just gave you as a gift. So when someone gives you a gift, I believe when I give someone, like when I buy a gift to my children, I feel good when I see them handling that gift well, when they treasure that gift. The same way God expects us to treasure these children, to handle them with care, knowing we are custodians and we will give an account. How we handled our children, how we discipline them. If we don't discipline them early enough for them to become good citizens, we'll forever be, regret. We'll regret that we never did it. And also before God would have failed as parents. So to me, let's treasure these children. They're a gift from God. It's a heritage that God has given us. For us, it's actually an honor, because I know there are parents who have tried getting children. They have done whatever, they have prayed, they have gone to doctors, and they're still trusting God. But some of us, we never struggled even getting these children. Isn't that a blessing from God? So let's treasure these children. Let's create time to pray for them. Let's teach them the ways of God. Let them learn to depend on God. But there is a God in heaven. There's a Father who is perfect in heaven, who loves them, and they will grow up just knowing that God also loves them, and he has good plans for them as they grow up as children.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you so much for even taking your time to be here with us. I believe our viewers today, you have learned so much, if not everything, at least almost everything. Because I believe for this generation, for us to bring a better generation, we need to start with ourselves, and it only starts when we get such information. And we are privileged today that we are getting the information from a counselor and also a parent, and she has shared some of the examples. So thank you so much for watching and staying on to the very end of this video. Give this video a thumbs up so that it can be able to reach as many people as it can. And thank you so much for staying by. If you have not subscribed, kindly consider subscribing, and thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in my next video. Bye, and thank you so much.